Na 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 na. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to the live show. Y'all know what day it is. And today is Wednesday. We have a very special guest that's coming in to the studio, and I hope that you guys are ready for it. Guess what? As we state, call your neighbor, call your friend, call your loved one, even call the cat and the dog and let them know that the live show is on the air. I just want to say thank you to all of you that are joining us, wherever you are joining us from, whether you're on YouTube, on Twitter, on Twitch, even on Facebook, and of course on our website, www.thelifeshowpodcast.com. And so I am glad that you guys are with us. And guess what? Tonight, we are on the radio. Okay, we're on the radio. We're on Hoosier Heat Radio. So all you got to do is download the free. Yeah, that's what I said, free. The free radio app, Hoosier Heat Radio. And then you can pick us up in your car, on your TV, wherever you are jogging, whether you're playing tennis, whether you're playing pool, wherever you are, you can pick us up. All right, pick us up right now. That's all I said. R-A-T, pick us up right now. All right, so I'm so grateful for this opportunity to be here because, again, there's nothing like, going on the air and talking to our listeners and our viewers. There's nothing like it. And so I'm glad that you came or you are coming on for the ride. It ain't nothing like it. To all of you that are listening out there, you're viewing out there, we appreciate you. We certainly appreciate you. And it's definitely an honor and a privilege to be with you all. Matter of fact, can I ask y'all to do this? Look, I just want to know how y'all doing out there. How y'all doing? Y'all doing okay? Everything going okay in your life? Do you have a peace of mind? What's going on with y'all before we get into this interview? What's up, nephew? What's cracking, man? And so again, it's definitely, look, I just want to say, first off, thank you to Fox Glen Marketing and Jackie Roper Jr. for all of the work that y'all are doing in the background, in the foreground, in the left ground, in the right ground, all those grounds. All right. Thank you so much, Fox Glen Marketing, for all that you do. Jackie Roper Jr., that's a Superman right there. All right. And so I got to say that, not to, pump his head up because his head already big, but yet and still, we appreciate you, bro. Look, y'all see all of the graphics going on up there? We have the banner up there, our banner that we purchased. But guess what? We don't have to do that no more because we got Jackie. All right. And Jackie is doing all of this stuff in the background and putting up all of this beautiful display work right here. So thank you, Jack. I appreciate you, man. Listen, we're gonna continue on. I want to encourage you all that are out there. If you would just share this podcast with someone else. Even for those of you that want to be a part of, or you want to, have your own podcast. Look, contact us ASAP. That's what I said. As soon as possible. All right, contact us as soon as possible so that you can be on and you can have your own podcast going on live on Twitter, on Twitch, Facebook, on YouTube, and on our website. And guess what? It could be on the radio too. But you need to contact us today. If you need to contact me, 219-613-4890. Again, 219-613-4890. For those of you that need to contact Mr. Jackie Roper Jr. himself, all you got to do is call 317-935-7043. Again, the number is 317-935-7043. And both of us, we can take your call. Okay, we can take your call. Nephew, what you talking about right there, man? Look, everything, look, it's gonna be all right. It's not going as planned, but you are alive. Look, I appreciate you, man, for everything. Continuing to support this podcast. So thank you for what you do, Stephanie, wherever you are. If you out there, look, thank you too for continuing to support the Life Show podcast. And so, this interview was supposed to start at 6 o'clock, running a little bit behind, but yet and still, we're going to keep on moving. We're going to keep on going forward. I want to ask those of you that are listening and viewing out there, listen, what's important to you? Okay? What's important to you, the things that you hold dear. And if you're chasing those things, okay, if you're chasing whatever is important to you, if you're chasing it, and how are you chasing it? So if you're chasing those things, in other words, how are you going to get to it? All right, I just want to know, just a little intermission before we get into tonight's interview. And so, again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to be with you. It's just another day that we have been kept. Look, I'm going to ask again, love, comment, and share this. Love, comment, and share this podcast with someone else, because somebody else needs to know that, that they can do it. They can make it. They can overcome. All right. And so what we're going to do right now is we're going to take a few minutes. We're going to take a break. The intro song that we always come on with is, is Family to Me. Bishop Dwayne Coleman coming out with the G. And if I'm pronouncing it wrong, it's my fault. But this is a new project that he's come out with, and so I'm glad that he allowed us to play the song on our podcast, so that everybody else can hear it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a brief intermission, and we're going to come right back with the Life Show podcast here tonight. Don't forget, we're on the radio live on Hoosier Heat Radio. All you have to do is download that free Hoosier Heat Radio app, and you can locate us today. So we're going to do a couple of commercials, and then we're going to come right back in just a couple of minutes. Keep it locked right here to the Life Show podcast.
Todos los días sueño contigo. Quiero estar a tu lado. Todos los días me siento solo. Quiero estar a contigo. Carino, carino, carino. Quiero estar a tu lado. Quiero estar contigo. Carino, carino, carino. Quiero estar a tu lado. Quiero estar contigo. Todos los días sueño contigo. Quiero estar a tu lado. Todos los días me siento solo. Quiero estar a contigo. Carino, carino, carino. Quiero estar a tu lado. Quiero estar contigo.
Burrito Express Bar and Grill. We're located at 9355 East Washington Street, Indianapolis, Indiana 46229. Call us at 317-897-9993.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that you have enjoyed so far. And I want to say this. The commercials that have been going, they are really from Indianapolis. And I'm really glad that Indianapolis is showing the live show some love. I really am, because they don't have to, but they're doing commercials, and it's not just, they're just not just showing us some love. It's Jackie too, okay? It's Jackie too. So, I want to thank Jackie for doing some of the leg work to get these commercials done, because again, it just makes our job a little bit easier. It does. It makes our job a little bit easier. And so thank you, Jackie, for doing the legwork for, those things. It is, now it is beginning to be a big thing. And for those of you that have a business, guess what? You can have your commercials made too. You don't have to sit by the sideline and see, all of this work done. But you can, get your commercial done for your business, and it's very affordable. Your online commercial, it can be within, this commercial can be for 5 years. If you don't change locations, and then Jackie can tweak it to where you can now, move about your day and then get it tweaked, get it edited and all that stuff, but it's still good for social media marketing. I know a lot of times when you go on and Google, Google your business, a lot of times you pay thousands of dollars for that kind of advertisement. But guess what? When you Google the live show, it's going to come up. When you Google the live show podcast, guess what? Your commercial is going to come up because we have so many, we have almost 300 episodes of the live show right now. So, it's going to come up, and then you can see where your money is going. You can see the improvement in your business. You can see, that your business is growing, and things like that. And you won't be able to, or you will be able to make sure that everything that you need is readily available. And please forgive me, you all. I'm just stalling just a little bit before our guest makes it here. And normally, our guest would be here. It's just tonight there was a little bit of consternation on the travel here, and so we are communicating, and he did let me know that he is on his way.
Yeah, we got
some
real bad thunderstorms going on right now in the area, Tyrone. So.
Yeah. Well, I did know that as well. Of course, we got traffic jams and bad weather that's going on. So y'all just bear with us for just a couple of minutes. He will be here shortly. But I do want to say this. If you go back and see all of the interviews that have happened, of course, we interviewed Walt Whitman last week. We interviewed, I got we got some real good interviews coming up really, really soon. We have some really, really good interviews coming up. Look, not just your commercial, but your podcast. If you want your podcast commercial done, look, get in contact with Jackie today.
Let's go ahead and
if y'all see all of the graphics that's going on, in this show, Jackie does all of that. If you see
others, if you want to, Tyrone,
say that again.
We can show them Keith Brown's.
Man, look,
over so many views.
Because that's coming up.
Yeah.
Next week.
We can show them that one. We can show them Love, Sex, and Vibe. You know what I mean? So you want to run?
Let's show them. First off, let's show them Keith Brown. That's my big brother. And then after that, of course, let's show them Sex, Love, and Vibes.
Yeah.
And then I do want to show them Tories. And then you got a new one from Darnell, don't you?
A new opening?
Yeah.
No, he didn't send me no new pictures.
Okay. So let's do Keith Brown first, and then let's do Sex, Love, and Vibes, and then we can go from there.
Okay. Actually, I'm gonna stop that one because the date had to change. So it do be some mistakes, and then got to do some re-editing as well. So her date on that one said 5/9, but she don't start until May
7th.
There we go. So I did
May 2nd
for her, and this should be it.
Okay, good deal. that was love right there, man. I love the graphics. Jackie does really good work, y'all. And I can't even front. He does really good work. As you've seen with the Keith Brown podcast, Jackie really does good work. Jack, that was Keith Brown's that played first, correct?
It was. If you want to see it again, we could run it again. His was short, about 36 seconds.
Yeah, if we can run Keith's real quick, and then I wanna run that one, and then we're gonna come back to the interview.
Try me, see if you find in me.
All right.
In my heart, you can know me and take away everything that is there.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and welcome back. Welcome back. I am here with the man himself. No, man, look. Fox Glen Marketing, they do all of our production work. And so they're from Indianapolis. Actually, Jackie Roper Jr. is our producer. Jack, you still there, man?
You know, I'm with you, baby.
Good deal, man. So, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to introduce our special guest. And for those of you that are listening on Hoosier Heat Radio, look, I have something special for you. All right. I have something special for you because those of you, especially if you're in the Gary, Indiana area, listen, this man, he is a youth and community liaison. I mean, just all tied up in all things community. And so we gonna talk about those things and what he got coming up next. He got his hands in everything, y'all. He got his hands in everything. So again, look, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I want to introduce to some and present to others none other than Ken Berry. Man, it's a pleasure to have you on, man.
Oh man, I'm just glad I can make it here, man. You that dude, man. I'm probably one of the safest drivers you ever met in your life, man. And I risk my freedom.
Oh no.
Trying to get here to get to you, man.
Oh no, man. No, man, don't risk your freedom, man.
Yeah, I broke a couple of speed laws.
Oh no.
And I got that little Mustang now.
Oh, no.
I was making myself a target, brother.
Oh no. But look, I'm gonna tell you like this, man. To follow your work, all of these years, and to be keeping up with you and see where you are, how you have changed the community with just having a heart for people. That's what you do, and to see that, to see the structure that you have in your mind to do good in Gary, man, share with us, man. What you had in mind when you took that project on?
Really, man. So, not to get into a long story, but man, in 1992, 93, man, I climbed up on the roof. I was working for a television station. I climbed up on the roof, man. It was this kid, you know, colors that came out. So the Crip and Blood thing popping off in not Gary, Indiana, Abilene, Texas. I'm from Chicago. Okay. But I was in Abilene, Texas at the time, man. And I go up there, I shoot my little news story, whatever, man. And then I probably spent the next 30, 45 minutes just chopping it up with the young cat, man. Cause you know, I grew up in Inglewood, in Chicago, man. And I never got, the life didn't touch me. So no gang banging, no drug, none of that, man. Just regular kid. Right. You know what I'm saying? And you know, somebody asked me one time what was the difference between me and a lot of the homies and I was just like, man, I made different decisions. I mean, I had come from a 2-parent home, but I made different decisions, man. And fortunately, I had a lot of cats, man, who older dudes in the hood, you know, because back in the day, man, like nobody asked you if they could be your mentor, man. You're right. You just got mentored. Hey, come here. Let me talk to you. I'm gonna jack this car. I need you to put your finger right there. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, so the OGs, you know, the old cats in the neighborhood, man, they just looked out for you, made sure you had a skill set growing up. But, you know, just I had been influenced by these different men in my life, man. But anyway, when I climbed down off that roof, man, as soon as my feet hit the ground, I knew to call the God on my life. Yeah. Like, I looked back up at that roof and I said, that's all I ever want to do in my life, man. And so my next set of mentors who were pastors were community dudes. So the first pastor, you know, I literally was standing there knowing he had a meeting with the mayor, and a member came in and said, Pastor, I need to talk to you right now. And he told his secretary, tell the mayor I ain't coming. So I'm sitting here like, yo, that's on some what? Like, this dude is important and you gonna cancel a meeting for us. But that showed me what it meant to have a heart for people, man. That okay, them folks on them upper echelons or with titles, they'll be all right. Yep. But I need to take care of this person who was in my church, who lives in the community. Second pastor, man, and I was able to be mentored by, man, that brother, he led the marches. Wow. And look, this is what he told us. So if you know the name of my mentoring program is MOVE, Me and Vision and Excellence. I wish I came up with that, but I didn't. I got it from him because he was like, you know, in this church, we men to move. So you're going to be in the community. You're going to be fighting for people. You're going to stand up for justice issues, or you getting out this church. You couldn't even be. Now, he wasn't playing. So, man, so we was out knocking on doors, passing out flyers at the school board meeting. So I was getting this stuff, you know, in my early 20s, man. And these were my mentors. These were the guys who were shaping me. And at the same time, they were teaching me how to, you know, strategically plan and create and innovate, you know, in a time when that wasn't a whole lot of people saying that stuff. Right. So by the time I landed in Gary, man, I got skill set and almost 20 some years in the game, you know, but driven by the call of God on my life. Right. And I tried to do the corporate thing, man. Again, I don't say this for bragging purposes. I kind of wish I couldn't say this, but I got 5 degrees and I got 2 master's degrees. Yes, sir. But at the end of the day, man, and I did the corporate thing for 90 days. So you know how 3 months. So you know how like you get a gig, right? And they say 90-day probation. Yep. At the end of the 90-day probation, and I'm talking about this downtown Chicago. You know, it's this is when these new work suites or whatever was kind of coming into being, man. And the cat sat me down, white brother sat me down. He said, man, you don't do this, do you? I said, no, man, I got to go find some kids, bro. Like, I got to go, because that, you know what I'm saying? Like, you called. Yeah. And I'm not, you know, trying to make nobody, you know, I'm not sitting up here preaching or nothing, right? Just in my own life has taught me, as long as I'm pursuing the will of God on my life, everything that I need to actually execute, meaning do the thing God called me to do, and my own personal needs gonna be taken care of. I mean, I guess we all want to be millionaires, but man, if I don't ever become one, I ain't tripping. Paul said, I've had it all, and I ain't had nothing. In both situations, I was straight. That's my translation. That's it. That's it. But man, that's just kind of where I'm at, man. And so, you know, the Do Good in Gary piece was really, so I've been in Gary for 9 years. Okay. And that really came about because, man, I was fortunate to figure out how to find what the people in the community were saying. Right. And I was at these local community meetings, a lot of them thrown by like your council people or whatever. And so I had a job that I had to go to these meetings and sit on the panels and listen to the community and watch them take shots and all of that. But the more I went to these meetings, the more I learned. And so I just made that a habit of my life. Where's the meeting at in the city?
Okay.
And not because I want to hear the folks up there talking, because I want to hear what the community has to say. What is the community saying that they need? And so a lot of it was, of course, youth programming. But that's my heartbeat. That's gonna happen no matter what. But then it was just like a lot of people in the city are already doing good in their own communities. They just want a little support, a little bit of help, but they don't want to go start no nonprofit. They don't want to be bogged down calling themselves writing a grant and all the stuff that comes along with that. So I said, what if we created an organization that did that for them, right? Now, primarily, we call that our Everyday Heroes program. Now, we ain't quite got there yet because it's really an initiative where we just want to raise funds. And if you're doing something good in your neighborhood, we either see it and we say, hey, I see you doing X, Y, and Z. Matter of fact, I can't remember this brother's name. He lived in Glen Park. And this was really probably the spark that really said, Ken, you got to do this, man. But I'm at a community meeting, 6th District. Political power, if you want to call it, being passed on. And this brother starts talking about how he mows all of the abandoned properties on his block. Got a ride lawnmower, bought it himself, did it himself. And I'm just like, man, that cat is
phenomenal.
Yeah, and when we look at our communities, like he's the dude we want in our community. So I said, what if I could raise, I don't know, $500, $1,000 for him and say, here, man, get that lawnmower fixed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And maybe, people see him out there and it sparks somebody else to do it on their block. And then somebody say, oh man, you hear about these two guys? And that was the whole do good at Gary. How do we become a catalyst? How do we become motivation for people to do good in the city that they live in? Because of course, again, and I know who you are, so I'm in good space when I talk about, the Bible says, seek the good of the city, because if it's blessed, you blessed. Now,
that's right.
That's Ken's translation, but you know what I'm saying.
That's right.
So that's what that was, man. And then we want to add this third component that we kind of working on, but it's a mobile. It's like a mobile care center, for lack of a better term. And so I want to buy a school bus. We're gonna load up that school bus with folks' basic needs, man. We just gonna love our neighbors that happen to have some challenges. So we're not gonna call them homeless. We're not gonna. It's just we got some neighbors who experiencing some life challenges. How do we go and support them? How do we rally people to come, and I call it the love tour. How do we rally people, even if we started out once a quarter? How do we get out there, man, and love on folks? And just, I was hungry and you fed me. You know what I'm saying? I was thirsty, you gave me some drink. I was naked, you gave me some clothes. You put some money on my books. You know what I'm saying?
I love that.
So so that's just the heart and soul behind it, man. We ain't where we want to be, but we on our way.
Yeah, man. And then you continue to make an impact, like in the community, and here it is. A lot of times, like me growing up in Gary and seeing where it was when I was growing up, and where it is now, I'm like, man, I want to do my part.
Yeah, for sure.
I want to make sure that this is covered before I go somewhere else. And take, as they say, take my talents to this place.
Right.
But I want to support home first and make sure that my home is straight. But then, a lot of times home kind of get in the way of you, moving around. And not saying nothing bad, but it's sometimes you meet those challenges. And so when you meet those challenges, you're one of the catalysts in the community that now you can help meet that need to say, like, man, you may not have support over here, but man, look, at least we can, give you a little pat on the back over here.
And if nothing else, man, just give you some encouragement. Like a lot of times, and don't get me wrong, it do take money to do stuff.
Yeah.
But what I learned, it's funny because how this all really started moving for me. I left Abilene, moved back to Chicago with a crazy vision of how to engage young people, pretty much in the church at that time, but using hip hop and the arts and all that. And at that time, it was a radical idea, or whatever. But anyway, we were doing that. Organization called World Vision found out about me. She said, "Hey, can you come do that for us?" I'm like, "Sure, why not?" And then through the Lord blessed, we had some success. We had done some stuff that they had never seen. We put 6,000 young people in a church, man, and they was like, we can barely get 10. How you end up getting 6,000 in here? And I, to be honest with you, I was like, I don't know how it happened. Other than God, like we just did the thing. I said, hey, market it like this, promote it like this, boom, 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 send this out to your networks like this, and man, we rolled up in that joint like, whoa, we deep in it. So, but they were so, I'm gonna say, appreciative of the effort that this guy named Mike was like, man, I want you to meet somebody. He introduced me to this dude named Dave. Dave said, hey man, why don't you come stay out here in South Barrington for the weekend with me, go to a leadership conference. I got to stay in his mansion, you know what I'm saying? Wow. Never had done that before, but long story short, we went out to eat. He helped me work through. I'm just thinking he asked me questions. Sure. But what he was doing was helping me work through my pitch, so to speak. And then, man, this dude, when we get back to his house, I'm sorry, I'm real urban. I'm gonna say crib. No, it's good. It's good. When we got back to his crib, man, it's like all of these. I call them my cousins. It's all of our cousins in there, and a bunch of red wine. And he's like, "So Ken, tell them what we just talked about at the restaurant." So I run the script we just talked. Yeah. And he was like, I want us to make sure Ken can continue to do this, because I was working with young people at the basement of my home. Yeah. Me and my wife. Yeah. And I want Ken to be able to continue to do this, man. I walked out there with $15,000, brother. Yes, sir. And I said, wait, that's how this works? And then the next year, on the anniversary of that, he sent me like 17,000 more. And I'm like, and I asked the Lord, I said, God, I want to do this for my people. Right. Meaning, unfortunately, and not unfortunately, but I mean, we were blessed by a bunch of, Caucasian brothers or whatever. But I'm just like, man, we need somebody like this in our community. And so at the time, I don't know how people feel about Russell Simmons, but he was real big in philanthropy at the time. And at the time, I was like, I was just I was going to be the Russell Simmons of the nonprofit world or whatever, man. And so just, so I was able to learn how to get resources, but at the same time, I tell people, man, you can do whatever you need to do with whatever resources you currently have. And sometimes the resources that they don't, when people ask me about, and this because you deep in the game mentoring, people like, well, how are you successful mentoring? I say, I walk up to a kid and say, what's up, man? That's it. And then you start building a relationship. It don't even cost no money. It might cost you a little gas money if you go scoop them up, or you take them to Chick-fil-A or whatever, man. But you don't necessarily need $1 million to make a difference, man. No. You can make a difference with your two hands. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, and here it is. You've been doing this for, locally here in Gary for 9 years, but abroad, you've been doing this for well over 40 years. Well, we run, I always, 30. I always get the math wrong. Yeah. 30 going on 31 years, man. Yeah, man. Yeah. And I mean, and look, he ain't slowing down, man. Oh, no. Here it is. Look, I look up and man, he just moving around. Next thing you know, he done popped up at another place. Wait a minute, this over here. I mean, so now you're able to help kids in a totally different environment, totally different structure. Yeah. That can, that can reach their some more needs. Yeah, for sure. Some more needs. And tell us about that. Yeah, well, so I was actually not retired, but I was just like, I'm gonna take a break for a hot second, man. I always knew I would get back to some young people, but I even took a job in the northwest suburbs of Chicago, man. It was kind of easy breezy. Yeah. Like I just showed up, talked a bunch of smack and left and was getting paid handsomely. I was like, this is a job for me, man. But I started teaching an entrepreneurship class at the Boys and Girls Club in Hampton. Okay. And one of the vice presidents walked in, saw me teaching the class. Honestly, y'all, for real, it was nothing special. It was just You know, when you work with young people, you know
That's what it is.
and you just get down like it ain't. You know what I'm saying? You either it's like anything else in life. You either good at it or you ain't. And it just so happens, like I guess if you spend 30 years doing something, you ought to be all right at it. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm just sitting there, we rocking out or whatever. And I just think it was like you had these teens engaged, which is hard, you know, whether you the Boys and Girls Club or whoever you are. Yeah. It's just that just happens to be my specialty group. Yeah. You know, like that's the group that I really, you know,
zone in on.
So yeah, man. So she was like, yeah, I'm gonna make you a job offer. And I laughed it off. We talked about some consultant type stuff, and then the next thing I know, man, like some the higher ups at the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Northwest Indiana was like, "Now you are a dude.
Yeah,
we need you to come on."
Yeah,
and so I can't. It's a lot of stuff going on that I don't have the. Yeah, I'm sorry, I got an NDA. Right?
I get it. You know I get it.
I can't talk about, but a lot of great things are getting ready to happen in Northwest Indiana, particularly in Gary. Yeah. Some of this stuff, you know, folks will be hearing about, and probably by I would say the end of July. Yeah. Not halfway through July, but just some incredible next level stuff. And I was like, man, if y'all doing that, I'm all in. Let's make this thing happen. And so right now we just trying to grow it. That club, and you mentioned something early, man. I wanted to touch on when you talk about growing up in Gary. So I didn't have the privilege, of course, of growing up in Gary. But the thing that I've always loved about Gary is how you guys talk about your history. Yeah. Right? And I remember wins. And I remember saying to myself, for as long as the Lord got me here, and I know I'm not a Gary native, but for as long as the Lord got me here, I want to get the youth programming in Gary back to his former glory and then beyond. Yeah. You know, that's kind of like a promise I made. And so and my wife asked me this question when they offered me the job. She said, "Are you finished in Gary?" Man, you know I gotta be talking to your wife. Because that was cool. Other than the drive, man, I was gonna leave in June. Yeah. I was gonna move. I was doing all this covertly because you ain't know that. Yeah. Right. So, and you one of my guys. I would have, you know, hey man, I'm about to jam or whatever. But she hit me with that question because I'm trying to, because you know the money wasn't bad. Right. It wasn't the same, but it wasn't bad. Yeah. And she was just like, so I got one question because you know I'm trying to get her to be the one to make the decision instead of me. She said, I just got one question. She said, do you feel like your work is done in Gary? Man, I was like, what you do that for? I was like, no, and so you know, so it's just so it was the vision that they cast. It was my wife asked me that, and I was just like, nope, I got a mission to complete. Yeah. And if God says the same, then because I'm 52, man, it's time to be in some warm weather all year and all that. But I'm rocking with Gary the hard way, man. I live in the city. I live in the city by choice. Yeah. I love the city. Compared to where I'm come from, man, the crime is zero. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I called the police when 17 people got shot on the block behind me in Chicago. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man. So, you know, I love the city, man. I see nothing but great things. And when God brought me here, man, all I could see was hope. Yeah. All I could see was hope. So I just wanted to, you know, whatever I could do to be a catalyst for hope to whether it be young people or, you know, us or, you know, whoever, man. Just want to do that. It is phenomenal.
Look, ladies and gentlemen, you're looking and listening to the live show. Not only are we on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, but we are also see.
I ain't know nothing.
You ain't even.
I'm sorry.
No, but look, not only that. But we are also on Hoosier Heat Radio. And so all you got to do is download the free Hoosier Heat Radio app. And I'm telling you, there's some special things on the horizon for the live show. We ain't done. We just, you know, we started with just the live show podcast with just me. And now we have 4 shows that have been added to us, and then an additional 2 that will be added in May. Wow. So actually it may be more than that. So you know, people that want a podcast, people that see yourself, you know, reaching out to the community, you know, we want a special type here on the Life Show podcast. We want a special type, not people that just throwing stuff together. We want visionaries. And so, and that's what myself and Jackie, that's what we're doing. We're coaching people along. Jackie is doing all of the commercials. Jackie is phenomenal, man. Actually, to tell you the truth, when Jackie and I, when we met, I was interviewing his cousin, and then it turned out that Jackie and I are family.
Oh, wow.
And we didn't even know it. You know, it was just crazy stuff like that happened for us, to where now we have this setup to where now we're gonna push this thing in a totally different direction. And you know, you really were the catalyst of podcasting in my mind.
Oh, wow, okay.
Because I was looking, man, I watched your structure like that was the setup. And then you had, you know, the TV screens, and I'm looking like, man, I want to do that, but I don't know how to do that. You know, and then you had the cameras and everybody, you know, young people moving around, and I'm like, man, how in the world do you do all of this? And so I'm asking people questions, and all of a sudden Jackie pop up out of the clear blue, like, all right, Ty, this is what you do, and such and such and such. Man, we put this thing together in less than 6 months. We put it together in less than 6 months, like the codes.
Yeah, see.
You know, it just flashing on the screen. People can now go in and you know, pop up on our Instagram and all of those social media sites. We're able to broadcast to YouTube without, you know, any interruption and all of those things. And for those of you that don't know, we're in the midst of getting our own radio station. So I got the vision from the visionary right here. And so I learned some things from him to where I gleaned from you from a distance. Yeah. And I could have did it the easy way. I could have just called him like Ken, man. I don't know what to do, man. He would have gave me the short and skinny on it. You know, and there's some other things that's on the horizon for us. You know, that I know that he's a part of. Man, look, if y'all doing some things out there in the community, you don't know which way to go, it's the man right here. Yeah. You know, this is the guy. And so there's some other things that I'm in the midst. I can't talk too much about it, but I'm gonna be, you know, making a shift here real soon. But Ken, you know, I can call him like, man, this is what I'm on. And he's like, Ty, man, you know more than I do.
But you know what, man? I be trying to figure out why everything's so top secret.
Yeah.
Because you know, you take that everything you just said, and I'm sure you made some phone calls to people who were doing things, and they, you know, they kind of like just giving you this basic, not even real information. They just all over the place and probably talking about themselves more than they talking about what you
talking in code.
And but my thing is, man, like, look, man, how we gonna grow, right? If I got some information, guess what? I didn't make it up. I got it from somewhere, and more than likely, I ain't paid for it.
Just share.
Now the fundraising stuff and the grant writing, I charge for that.
Wait a minute, say that again. Say that again.
If you want to learn how to do fundraising and grant writing, you got to pay for that.
Come on, man.
Everything else though is pretty much free. You know, because I paid to go learn how to raise money. You know what I'm saying? And I put in way too much sweat, tears, and wine drinking to learn how to write grants, man. Like it wasn't so. But outside of that, man, I'm just like, and you know this, man. You know, if I got it, you got it. If I got the info, you got the info, man. I don't understand not helping each other, man, because that's what's holding our community back now. And then I'm gonna throw this, you know, since you want to pretend like I'm the catalyst for everything, I'm gonna tell you now.
Oh, there you go, y'all. That's the man.
He made me mad. So I've been talking about doing a podcast forever, and he know that. That's why he just told that whole story. And man, then here this dude come, and I ain't gonna tell you what he called me and talked to me about, but he ain't had nothing to do with no podcast. He was like, Ken, I'm about to do woo woo woo. What you think? We chopped that up. Next thing I know, the live show on. I'm like, oh, so he gonna get out there before me. But like, it's certain things that I think there's certain areas of our lives we just way too critical.
Yeah.
And so because I wanted it to be quote unquote perfect, I've been kind of what we used to say back in the day, stagnating or whatever. And so first you hit the scene, you was doing it, and then it wasn't like you wasn't here and gone. You was like every week, this looked like every day at one point. It'd be you, then it'd be you and somebody, and I'm just like, man, this dude is getting it, man. He ain't even holler at his boy. So when he reached out to me for this, I started to say something crazy to him. I was like, oh, now you saw. But so it's a sister named Janisha. So at my studio, you can come and pay, and I'll shoot your podcast, edit it, and all that other stuff. And no competition here because that's my guy. Right. So that wasn't no plug. But she come to me and then this dude named Jeremiah King. So I'm sitting here looking at the live show, I'm looking at Village Talk, and I'm looking at Black Chat, and I'm sitting here like, what mine at? Apparently, I know what I'm doing. So what's wrong with me? You know what I'm saying? So just to put this out there, man, if you don't mind.
No, go ahead, man.
Next month, I'm waiting on my backdrop to come, but next month, man, the podcast is just called Ken. But it's where I talk to the Ken podcast gonna be where I talk to anybody because everybody's somebody.
Man,
you know what I'm saying?
That.
So a lot of times, and of course I would love to have some celebrities, but when I look at these shows, I'm like, but what about the average Joe? What about the regular person that, what I'm saying? Like when you meet people, you hear all of these incredible stories from just regular old, you wouldn't even know it, folks, stories of struggle and triumph, and you know what I'm saying? And you find out, like most people, if you don't know my name, you don't even know all of the stuff I do or whatever. And then you meet me and talk to me, you like, dude, like you said, you doing all of that. Well, guess what? Multiply me by hundreds. Right. It's a lot of people out there, young, old. Man, I'm talking about doing things. I talk to what is this? Are you smarter than the fifth grader? I'm gonna talk to the fifth grader. To somebody about to walk on over and call it a rap for life. You know what I'm saying? So I'm man, thank you for your consistency with you. I say, man, thank you for your consistency. And I'm glad you gave that backstory, man, because to see how you did your homework. Yeah. And you said, man, I don't want the easy route. Let me get in, get my hands dirty. Yes, the Lord bless you with some people along the way, man. But for you, man, because I'm always looking, man, I'm like, what about an individual do I love that I want to make sure that that's a part of who I am? And yours is consistency, man. You have not stopped since you started, man. And so I'm taking that from you. I'm hating a little bit, but it's all good because we brothers. And I'm gonna get out there, man, and then we gonna have some more content for the folks, man. Man, we got. And I'm gonna bring you on my joint, please, dude. Man, look, and this ain't the last time, man. Anytime. If you want to be on the platform, man, look, it's open for you, man. It's definitely open for you. Because again, you bring the consistency that I want. Man, looking at you and the way that you drive, man, it was no way in the world. I always joke with Jackie and I say, man, ain't nobody gonna beat me at doing what I love to do. Bro. They can't. Look, nobody is gonna beat me at doing what I love to do. And then, Jackie was getting up. He was getting up with me. Okay. Because I do Sunday mornings at 5 a.m. Okay. I'm in here at 5 a.m. So Jackie was up. He was like, man, look, well, you gonna be up time, I'm gonna be up with you. All right. And so he was up, he an hour later or ahead in Indianapolis. So for me, I was getting up at 3:30 in the morning, 4 o'clock. God bless you. Getting up in here, man. To do the podcast. But
this is what I love to do so that I can give information and make sure that I'm consistent. One thing about it is everybody that's out there, if I can give you a word of advice, look, if you be consistent, you're going to run into the right people.
Yeah, just don't quit. Like, first of all, and this, I tell people this, I said, even if you're scared, do it anyway.
Yeah.
Right? Because that don't mean you wasn't fearless.
No.
That didn't mean you wasn't scared. That didn't mean you wasn't taking a risk. It's just that you did it anyway.
Yep.
Right? And so then that's always the first step. The first step is to take the first step, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what these mics are, man. So you know what? I'm gonna stick my phone up in front of me and just go live on Facebook. Guess what? You just took a step. You may not have all the fancy graphics and stuff like that, but guess what? You would get there. Like I always tell people, I ain't competing with nobody.
There you go.
I ain't competing with nobody except for myself.
That's it.
So when that meme started going around the internet, I was like, that's it right there. The only person you in competition with is you.
Yeah.
Right? The only person you got to sometime overcome is you. Sometimes your biggest hater is you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
I always tell people, nobody stops me from doing anything because one ain't asking for their permission.
There you go.
The only way you get to stop me is if you ask what happened?
Look, can you do it again, Jack?
I'm not playing that game with y'all.
You know what I'm saying? And so people, and again, like I always tell people, I ain't that special because how do you? Because I do it, man. I don't look. I ain't got time to be trying to worry about how somebody gonna feel about it, what they gonna think about it. You know what? I'll go out there and I risk failing. I risk falling on my face. I'm just gonna do it, man, because I'm gonna die empty. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Man, see, now you're making me itch because I be saying the same thing. Man, look, I ain't gonna die full. I'm gonna die empty, divested of everything that is in me, man.
Everything I popped up in my head, I went and tried it. If it wasn't gonna get me killed, and then sometimes you know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. So like, cause I understand motivation and all that, but if you are not your number one motivator, you're in trouble. Because every time you need motivation, you gotta look outside your own self. And then if you a believer, you know where we go. You know what our course is. But I looked. It's the Lord, then Ken. You know, how bad do Ken want it? Well, Ken gonna do whatever Ken gotta do to get it.
Sir.
You know, and a lot of that, and I'm gonna shut up after this. And a lot of that is what you did, homework. People won't do homework, and they wonder why they can't get to that place that you ain't study your craft. You ain't never picked it up. You okay? Guess what? None of us, even Jackie, I ain't never met you, but he didn't come out the womb knowing how to hook all this up. He did some homework. He went and did some studying. You did some homework. I know I want to achieve this goal. So okay, I don't need one light. You got like 17,000. Whatever. I am a very well lit man right now. You know what I'm saying? But like you learned and you built, and now you at a place, and now you talking about now we finna go to another level, right? But I'm gonna do the homework. I'm gonna risk. I'm gonna put my content out there, whether one person watch it or 50,000 people.
That's it.
I'm gonna put it out there, and we gonna keep going.
Yes, sir. And so look, ladies and gentlemen, we gonna it's been an honor and a pleasure to be with you tonight. We just interviewed the man. Y'all have no idea. This is the man. Look, Ken Berry, man. Look him up. Yeah, look. As they say, Google him, man. Look, I'm telling you, Google. And so look. We gonna get up out of here. Ken, thank you so much for accepting the invite.
Thank you.
Man, look, we gonna have everything that we need to keep on moving forward. Look, don't give up, don't quit, don't cave in, don't throw in the towel. Man, your best is yet to come.
Amen.
We gonna get up out of here, man. Look, y'all have a safe and great evening. Until 7:30, coming up, Darnell Brown coming in, all right, with Out the Box Podcast. Until then, peace.
Na 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 na.